Hi, and welcome back to Never Model Making, and this is what we're going to be doing this build. This was requested by one of my subscribers, and this is Suzuki's RGV500. The model I'm going to do was written by Kenny Roberts Jr. And what I'll do in a sec is have a look through the box and see what rough plan we can put together for the build with cool looking bike. So in the box we have obviously the instructions and a bit of a history of the bike itself from 1999 World Road Racing Championship. I've got decal sheet and decal call out. And we've got several sprues. Start here with black parts and some chrome parts, which look pretty good. We'll have a closer look at those as and when we build it. And wrap around fairing. And the rest of the bodywork. And grey parts for the wheels, exhausts and engine, and the chain, and a little bag with some mesh, Tamiya's orange handled screwdriver, wheels and some tubing, and lots of little nuts and bolts and things, and the spring around the back there. Okay, so as well as doing the bag, I think it's mostly be out of the box. I've got some these Tamiya cables, different thicknesses, so I'll look at replacing some of the wiring on the bike that would normally be the plastic tubing for perhaps ones of a bit more to scale. So that's the plan. Through the instructions. This is something I thought was unusual. Usually with Tamiya bikes, they start off with the engine and then the frame, and then you put them together, and then you do the rear swing arm. And this actually starts with the rear spring. God, get my teeth in. Rear swing arm. So it starts with that. Make the suspension, fit the wheel, then you make up the frame. Lots of attachments to the side of the frame, airbox, then the engine part on there, the front radiator, fit all that together. Okay, bit of wiring, then you start with the exhausts, which are actually quite thin. Again, fit those, handlebars, so we run around to the front of the bike, and fit the forks, front wheel, again a bit more wiring, I'll look at replacing, and then you make up the fairings and fit all those round, and so that should be painted and decal before we fit those, and everything comes together. And this is part of the lower part of the fairing, and end up with part 24 where everything's put together, and we should have something that looks like this. So as I say, we'll have a look at different options. Look at the pictures, there's bits of carbon we can do. I'll have to look at the decals and see whether that comes with it. If not, I've got some I can use for different parts. Okay, so we'll just pause there, and then we'll make a start on things. Right, so I've got a few parts out that make up the swing arm up to the frame, and as I said, with the chrome parts, it's a nice chrome. It's not too shiny, it's quite a matte. It looks a bit more realistic. The problem I'm going to have, I think, is there'll be a seam here, and the main one is where the sprue joints are. So there's a big blotch there, there's a couple little ones underneath, and there's a few seam lines and things knocking about. On the suspension there's these ejector parts, again where it's connected to the sprue. So I've decided I'm going to strip all these parts and paint them. So I'm going to pop to the garage and got some oven cleaner, and we'll get this all stripped down and we'll be back. Okay, so that's got all the chrome stripped off. Most of it there's cooler little bits in nooks and crannies, but just up the top here, but it's not going to get in the way of anything. So be able to like clean off these attachments and things and file them down and get a smoother finish. Okay, so we'll just let them dry properly and we'll be back. Okay, so we're ready to do a bit of priming. As you can see, taking the chrome off, we can get the joins and everything all nice and smooth. Get rid of some of the other seam lines around the place. That's better than the chrome, which had a nice big seam here. So just getting ready to prime. So I'm going to use a couple of primers I think on this. So we've got, what have we got? There we go. So Grumpy's gloss black for the basically thin metal, which is the front fork, the part of the suspension, do the brakes, and the chain. The spring, which is yellow, I think. Is it yellow? X4, I think that's yellow. Hang on. Read that, check the instructions. Blue, yes. Which is blue, so I think I'll do that in white, along with the wheel, which is definitely white. And the rest I'll do in grey. So we'll get some priming done, and we'll be back. Okay, so that's got the priming done. So I've got the white on the wheels and done the stand in white, basically because I had a bit left in my airbrush, and the spring, and the rest of them done in the gloss black, UMP's gloss black. It's got nice and shiny. This is good for priming when you're going to paint in metals. So it's nice and gloss there. So I'm going to start off with whatever. There we go. Start with Vallejo's Metal Colour Chrome. So I'm going to be doing the swing arm and top off the suspension arm. Don't think anything else is chrome. No, it's just those two parts. Then we'll work around and come back when I've done some more painting. Okay, moved on a bit, got a bit of painting done, and as you can see, got a couple of decals on there as well. So this was done in chrome, X18 semi-gloss black, titanium gold, and same on this side, X18, and on there use a bit of Tamiya's panel line accent, just to give it a bit of depth. Okay, and I've got the wheel as well, so that's done in white, so I've got the water slide decal on there and just the ordinary decals on the rim. This is just X2 gloss white and titanium gold for the valve. So we've got the brake and chain done. The chain is So metallic grey with X13 metallic blue along the sides. Then we've got the suspension, which is the spring, come in nice dark blue, and other bits. So what we'll do is we'll put things together. Let's go with the instructions. So I've got the wheel on, so I've just filed the wheel for the course. Finally, course something. Anyway, sandy stick, that was it. Difficult word that. Just to get the seam line off. So we start off with the brake disc on. So that has a little hole here, which matches up to a little knob there. Okay, so that got it. Far fiddly than it should have been. So I've glued that on. So we'll let that dry a bit before we start manhandling anything into the swing arm. So I'll pause it there. Okay, so that's got the wheel on the swing arm. It was quite fiddly because the gap between the other two sides wasn't very much. You had to sort of fiddle it in without trying to scratch paint off. So anyway, that's the swing arm with the chain. So now we'll build up the suspension rear damper. Okay, so it starts off with this part which has a hole through it, which we drop a screw. Which we drop a screw, come on. Okay, so that's all the way through there. And then put the spring on this part, and then this at the end hooks into there. Like that. And there's a bit on here that fills up the gap. Fits in there, and I'll stick a bit of glue on that. Just assume the Tamiya extra thin, quick dry stuff, so it'll dry pretty quick. Okay, so this, going to this goes up and through. And here, and that's another screw. Which will hold that in place hopefully. So it's one of those three-handed jobs. Want to hold it in place. And we've got some of that. And of course, as soon as you put the screw down, it twiddles around a bit. So it's only this. There you go, so we can adjust that as and when. So there you have it, the spring arm done. So this will screw into the frame somewhere, because there's a couple of nuts and things I noticed them out in the kit. And if I pick it up, so this is one of the Tamiya Detail Up series wires that I'm going to use. So that is instead of where's it gone? There we go. So that is instead of the rubber tubing that you get with the kit. So it's a lot thinner, so it's a bit more scale. So that will go in there, just drill out a little hole. So that's in there. Unfortunately, my CA glue decided to stick itself together, so the lid's basically stuck on solid. Just might give it a clean. So I'm going to have to get some glue, and then I can glue that in there and then shape it around so it goes up through the frame along the top. So that's what we're up to. So we'll call this part complete there, and when we come back we'll move on to building up the frame itself, and see how far we get on that, because there's lots of little twiddly bits to go on for that. So that's part one of the Tamiya's Suzuki RGV500, and see you on part two, which should hopefully be up fairly soon. Thanks for watching, and as I always say at the end of these, if you like what you see, please subscribe and click the notification bell, so as and when I put a video up, you get notified that it's there. And please do leave a comment. I do read and answer them all. Sometimes it takes a little while, but I do get back to you. Okay, as I said before, thanks very much. Thanks for watching.